Well, we want to take you back now, stateside here to Washington. A top House Republican is accusing the Biden administration of blocking multiple requests for documents related to Hunter Biden's overseas business transactions.
That's right. And former President Trump counsel Pat Cipollone is scheduled to provide testimony behind closed doors for that committee that's scheduled for Friday. Joining us live with more on that and the latest developments with the January 6th committee, correspondent Kilmeny Ducart, who joins us live now from the Capitol. Hey, Kilmeny.
John, Bianca, good to be with you. James Comer, a ranking Republican on the House Oversight and Reform Committee, has now made a second request to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, asking her to hand over the suspicious activity reports related to Hunter Biden, his business associates, and some members of his family's business dealings overseas. Comer sent a follow-up letter to Yellen on Wednesday saying the Biden administration is restricting Congress's access to SARs, and committee Republicans are investigating whether this change in longstanding policy is motivated by efforts to shield Hunter Biden and potentially President Biden from scrutiny. He goes on to say the American people deserve to know whether the president's connections to his son's business deals occurred at the expense of the U.S. interests and whether they represent a national security threat. Well, on Tuesday, the White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre was questioned about this, about a voicemail in particular suggesting President Biden knew more about Hunter Biden's business dealings overseas than he had originally stated. All of that voicemail reportedly coming from Hunter Biden's laptop, which was handed over to the FBI.
And secondly, a New York Times article concerning Hunter Biden's business dealings, and he says, "I think you're clear." How is that not him talking to his son about his overseas business dealings?
We're not, from this podium, I am not going to talk about alleged materials from the laptop.
So
I will,
are you disputing that
I'm not.
And in other developments, Trump's former White House counsel, Pat Cipollone, he'll be testifying before the January 6th committee, but behind closed doors. The committee wants his deposition as someone who was not only in the West Wing on January 6th, but someone who had also repeatedly challenged President Trump on his theory about overturning the election results. Some of his remarks, though, may be limited given the fact that he could assert executive privileges. But there are also questions, John and Bianca, as to whether the committee will seek new testimony from the Secret Service agent Robert Engel and the White House aide Tony Ornato following Cassidy Hutchinson's second-hand account where she alleged that President Trump had grabbed the steering wheel on January 6th, trying to get his driver Engel to go to the Capitol instead of the White House.
Well, you know, if they're after the truth, it would make sense to hear directly from those sources. But again, we will watch and see. Kilmeny Ducart live on Capitol Hill. Thanks, Kilmeny, for that report.
All right, let's welcome in now Texas Congressman Pat Fallon, who joins us to talk about these two issues. Great to have you back with us, Congressman.
Thanks, John. Good to be back.
You know, you saw so many liberals get excited when we heard that Pat Cipollone was going to testify before the January 6th committee. Of course, this is going to happen behind closed doors. Why is this not happening in front of the whole committee? They've made such a big deal about televising these hearings.
John, that's a great question, and largely probably because they don't know exactly what he's going to say. So this is nothing more than the J6 committee is a farce. It's a sideshow. It's a clown show. What the Democrats don't want to talk about is record high 40-year inflation, the coming recession. They don't want to talk about record high gas prices or an open and porous border. They are fixated on January 6th. They say, oh, it's an insurrection. It was a riot, as we all know. And they have amnesia about the riots from the summer of 2000 when we had BLM and Antifa burning cities. So it's awfully convenient for them.
Yeah, the summer of 2020, we saw the violence in all those cities. And I also wanted to ask you about this Hunter Biden issue. You know, our previous guest, we talked about this. They're sending oil from our Strategic Petroleum Reserves to China, and you might ask, why would we be doing something like that when China's buying oil from Russia and a lot of other places? Why would we be sending American crude oil to China? John Brown, a former member of the British Parliament and an aide to Margaret Thatcher, says it's because the Bidens are a wholly owned subsidiary of the Chinese government. Why are we sending oil to China?
Well, Joe Biden has proven that he puts America last, unlike President Trump with his policies of putting America first. Our office, we filed HR 7996, John, to protect the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And it's meant for a national emergency or if you have a natural disaster. So our bill, if it were passed into law, would require an act of Congress to tap into it. It shouldn't be used by fiat or by decree for political expediency. Under President Trump, at that high peak, we had 796 million barrels of oil in reserve. And now that's only just under 498 million. So what a 28% reduction.
It's scary.
I mean, that's what Joe Biden does. It is scary. It's very scary.
Do you think this has anything at all to do with Hunter Biden's foreign business deals with China?
Well, I hope not, because that's high crimes and misdemeanors, and that's treason. And that's why we want to get to the bottom of this. Clearly, what was 10% of the big guy? What did that mean? Who's the big guy? Hunter seems to be getting off light by giving Pops only 10 points. So we want to find out what really happened.
Yeah.
And the Bidens are obfuscating and dragging their feet, and they don't want justice to be done here.
And the White House has no answers. When you ask them about Joe Biden specifically, they want us to talk to Hunter Biden's people, whoever they are. Maybe they're in Ukraine. Maybe they're in China. We don't know. Great to see you, Congressman Pat Fallon. Thanks so much.
Thanks, John. God bless.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.